I just started at Urban Sites and came to Ashley with an idea for the project, and you guys were crazy enough to jump into it with us.
Yes.
The acquisition of the two buildings was going to be $2.5 million, which is higher by like 5 times of any other project that I'd ever been on. And we put in the application in February that year, and it scored really well, and we found out we got funded.
Project. It was very exciting to us because there hasn't been any new affordable housing in the Central Business District in decades. And this is our first partnership
Right.
with
Yeah.
Urban Sites. So yeah, that was an exciting component of it.
Yeah.
In the community of development came to help with the acquisition.
Yes,
Yeah.
absolutely. Yeah. That's putting it lightly.
Yeah.
Yeah, we found out we were awarded and we had to close within 45 days. And we put together the acquisition loan with LISC, which was great. And to help out with a HUD rule, 3CDC stepped in and became the owner. And we made sure we had a deal with them that made sure that we really were on the hook for maintenance and really the guarantees associated with the loan. But it worked out. And yeah, we were in a web of support.
Right. So then that whole piece too of getting in here and looking at the property and applying for state and federal historic tax
Right.
credits. So
Right.
this was like one of the last projects that got an allocation of state historic tax credits.
Right.
It has low-income housing tax credits that we call LIHTC,
Mm-hmm.
and then the state historic tax credits and federal historic tax credits. Shortly after that, then the state passed legislation that you can't pair state
Yes.
historic tax credits with low-income housing tax credits.
Right.
So we were lucky and grateful to get in under the wire on that.
Yeah.
I feel like that is the story of affordable housing now.
Yes.
That it is every project. The other project that we're working on is in Northside, and it, you
Yeah.
know, similar, feels easier. I don't know, but every
Yeah.
affordable housing project has a multitude of challenges, primarily around financing and how do you make it affordable.
Right.
That is the biggest challenge, and then COVID's impact on the whole industry of development. So all those costs going up.
Right.
So when we apply for tax credits in say 21, in February of 21, and then we actually close on all the financing, and that's when you have to have your numbers set like a whole year and a half
Yeah.
later. So much can change between the time that you apply. So that's like you said, when it's gut check, like you get the award and it's like, oh, shoot,
Yeah.
how are we going to make this work now?
Yes. And
Yes.
on other projects, Cincinnati Development Fund has really stepped up on Vandalia Point to fill a big gap caused by the construction prices going up. And it feels like they're easing off, but it's just kind of created this extra level of due diligence. We've always been, I think, careful and relatively conservative with our underwriting, as has OTRCH, but it's even now more so.
Right.
Let's double check our construction numbers. And the applications we just put in, we made sure construction came out with almost more detail than I would have expected, breaking out every
that
component of
stage.
those buildings. Yeah. Acquisition cost for these two buildings is $2.5 million, which is a lot. And it takes some guts to step up and do a project of that size, the acquisition just being that high. So I think that's probably scared off a lot of people from doing affordable housing in the Central Business District. And it takes some guts too. There's a lot of people that have misconceptions about affordable housing, and to go into a new neighborhood and to talk about this income and to dispel those myths and make sure people know it's not going to be threatening. It's actually a good thing for your neighborhood to be affordable, and it makes your entire neighborhood healthy because it's bringing in a price point that allows the whole market to cool off a little bit.
Well, we've known Urban Sites for a long time. I mean, they've been part of the neighborhood like we've been part of the neighborhood for 40 years. So we know them. We know that they do really great work. And they've just been in the neighborhood as a good community member.
Like, we're both longstanding members of Over the Rhine. Over the Rhine Community Housing, we knew you did great work when it comes to taking on gutsy projects.
Yeah.
And I mean, what I admire about Over the Rhine Community Housing is that you have services, you connect people to other organizations in Over the Rhine where they can get job training, they can build their skills. You have a whole program around children, the after school programs. And to me, that's just so, to have not just housing that with rents that are affordable, but to connect people to programs and services that they can use, like that's very, very powerful.
Yeah, so this opportunity I don't know who saw it, Greg or you, or how it came to be at Urban Sites, but
Yeah.
then they reached out to us and it was like, oh, Urban Sites.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
I think the biggest challenge on this project was the construction prices that went up, I think 10% after we got the project funded. We found out, I think the February before we wanted to close in the summer, and we found out in February that our construction price went up about 10%. And we had to do some other, engineering, tried to remove some costs from the building, which you can't always do. And that helped us get to the finish line. And still, this is just, we're doing affordable housing in an environment that's very difficult with the construction prices going up. Now, interest rates are on the rise, which causes our construction loan interest to go up, which is a problem that we haven't quite fully solved on the Barrister. So, yeah, you get it funded and you just have to continue to problem solve as you go along.
Yeah, so philanthropy played a large part in this one.
Absolutely, yeah.
In the increased cost had a lot to do with the market and COVID. So raising money for it was something that, people could understand when we could talk about why we needed to raise money. Mm-hmm. People have access to this amazingly beautiful home that's close to transportation. There's a grocery store a couple blocks away. They have free Wi-Fi. I mean, I just feel like it lets people know that they deserve to have high quality place to live. So I'm really proud of where people generally think of affordable housing in a negative term, that if you walk through here, hopefully it opens some minds so that people can understand that affordable housing is and can be beautiful, and that people who we come across every single day, who maybe drive our school buses, who are child daycare workers, who are cashiers at Kroger's, deserve to have an affordable place to live. What a project like this can do, and this experience today, and with the mayor seeing it and council members and having it in the media, that people can say, oh, that's affordable housing? Oh yeah, okay, we do need more of that. And so then when we're talking about affordable housing, they're like, oh, I remember seeing that, those beautiful apartments at the Barrister. Yeah, let's do more of that. Yeah.
I really hope so. And I think a lot of the people that live in most of the people that live in affordable units are hardworking people. They have multiple jobs. Yes. They work at daycares. They work in doctor's offices. They work in grocery stores. They work at schools. They do important jobs that our city needs. Yep. And it's important to have units like this in neighborhoods that are growing.
And too, when we're talking to other neighborhoods, other community councils, people who might be, I don't know about affordable housing, this is a great place to bring them and say, here.
That's awesome. Yeah. And yeah, the building turned out beautifully. The renovation was great. And, we had a great architect and great members of the general contracting team to make sure that we could pull something like this off and make sure the units, there's some that just have they all have very big windows, high ceilings. It doesn't feel like affordable housing. It feels like housing that's at market that, normally would be able to get very high rents, but we're able to pull this off, as kind of a benefit for the city and for the people that live here.
Right.